Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, Counter Spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
And we go back this hour to June 17th, 1952. The show was on television, but first it was on radio. Bill Johnstone starring in the police procedural The Lineup. And this episode is entitled The Liquor Store Robbery.
Ladies and gentlemen, we take you now behind the scenes of a police headquarters in a great American city, where under the cold, glaring lights will pass before us the innocent, the vagrant, the thief, the murderer. This is The Lineup.
Hi, Ben.
Hi, Dave. How's Sandy?
Oh, she's fine, thanks. We brought her home this morning.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, you gotta hand it to her. Doc said there wasn't a peep out of her. Behaved better than most grown-ups.
Proud father, huh?
Oh, sure. If you had any kids, you know what it's like.
Mrs. Weiss here yet?
Oh, I don't think so.
Your client come in?
I haven't seen him. Sandy's always been brave about things like that, though. Even the dentist doesn't bother her.
Hi, Ben.
Oh, hi. Hi, Clint.
How's Sandy, Dave?
Don't ask him. You got a lecture on brave children.
Oh, she's fine, thanks. Didn't you have any
Never
trouble with
mind,
your...
I believe you. Oh, hello, Miss Weiss.
Hello, Lieutenant Guthrie.
How are you feeling?
Oh, much better, thank you.
You remember Sergeant Klein, Sergeant Asher?
Oh, yes. How do you do?
How do you do, Miss White?
I'm sorry I'm late. Seems like there's so many things to do now that Daddy is gone.
Oh, that's all right. Here, this'll do.
Lieutenant, did you find the men that did this awful thing?
Well, we're not sure. We picked up one man that fits your description.
Oh, but there were two men, Lieutenant.
Yeah, I know, but if we can get one, we can usually get the other.
May I have your attention, please? You people out there on the other side of the wire on the audience room, may I have your attention, please? Thank you. My name is Cogger, Sergeant Pete Cogger. I'll explain the lineup to you. Each of the suspects you will see will be numbered. I'll call off a number, their name, and charge. If you have any questions or identifications, please remember the number assigned to the prisoner as I call his name. At the end of each line, when I ask for questions or identifications, call out the number. If you're sure or not too sure of the suspect, have him held. The officers who took your name will assist you. They're seated among you. Please be prompt with your questions or identifications. When the prisoners leave here, they're sent to the washroom and dressed back into their jail clothes. It makes it quite difficult to bring them back after they leave here. The questions I ask these suspects are merely to get a natural tone of voice, so do not pay too much attention to their answers, as they often lie. All right, bring on the line. Okay, keep it moving. Right over here to the end of the stage. Come on, boys, move it. Now turn and face front, hands at your sides, and look straight out through the screen. That's it. Now when I call your number, step out. Keep facing front and talk up so everybody out there can hear you. I want all those people out there on the other side of the screen to get a good look at you and be able to hear what you say. So stand up and talk up. All right, number 1, Ernest Fitz, grand larceny. Okay, Ernie, step out.
Ernest, if you please.
All right, Ernest. What's your address?
Well, my mailing address is 1263 South Griffith Road, Miami, Florida.
And when I ask for your address, I want to know the address where you slept last.
614 Oak Lane.
House or apartment?
It's an apartment. I'm staying with a friend of mine.
And we know all about your friend.
Oh, really?
How long have you been in town, Ernest?
Yeah?
I think that's one of the men that holds one.
You sure?
Cadillac.
I would like to see him closer.
You ever been to
Wait till he's
Palm
called,
Springs?
when you'll be able to get a better
Not
look at
this
him.
season.
When were you in Palm Springs?
Well, last year.
For how long?
Well, really, now, must we go through this foolishness?
How long were you in Palm Springs?
Well, about 3 months.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm a salesman.
What kind?
A very good one.
All right, Harry. What do you sell?
Real estate, securities.
What firm do you represent?
What firm?
Yes, what company?
Well, I suppose you would call it my own.
Business been good, Ernest?
Oh, it's very good. Well, that is, up until this afternoon.
Okay, Ernest, step back. Number 2, Herbert Emery, robbery. Where do you live, Herbert?
304 East Federal.
Where do you work?
I ain't working right now. But looking, though.
What were you doing at 434 East Collins early this morning?
Looking? Just looking, that's all.
For work?
Yeah. I go out early in the morning and line up places to ask for a job during the day.
But the store wasn't open for business and you were inside.
The door was unlocked. I was going to close it.
Oh. Where you from, Emery?
Oregon?
You ever been in trouble before?
No, sir, nothing serious.
How old are you?
41. I ain't in any trouble now, am I?
A little.
Oh, I ain't done nothing. The door was open. I was going to close it.
You own a car?
Oh, sir.
How long you been in town?
Been there 2 weeks.
All right, Emery, step back. Number 3, Roger Fitzgerald, open charge. Okay, Roger, stand up straight. That's it. Where do you live?
4677 North 40.
You own a car?
No, sir, you know that. I was waiting for a bus when you picked me up.
Where'd you get the typewriters, Roger?
I found them.
Where?
In the bushes.
You find a lot of typewriters?
Yeah, quite a few.
We found 12 more typewriters in your room, Roger.
There were that many?
Yeah. You ever been picked up before?
On this town.
How long you been in town, Roger?
20 months.
Where you from?
Dayton, Ohio. Hey, you think I stole those typewriters?
That's right.
You kidding?
Afraid not. Okay, step back, Roger.
Could we move up a
Number
little
4, Carl
closer,
Lindell,
Lieutenant?
robbery.
Sure.
Okay, Carl, move it.
I'm sorry, my eyes
Where do you
aren't
live?
as good as when I was young.
On Washington Boulevard.
Lived there long?
4 days.
You own a car?
No.
How long you been in town?
10 days.
Where'd you come from?
Texas.
What city?
Dallas.
What kind of work do you do?
Mechanic.
You folks out there hearing? Okay, Carl, speak up. Stand up straight. How old are you?
24.
Any weapons on you when you were picked up?
32 revolver.
Nickel-plated or blue steel?
Blue.
Not very talkative, are you, Carl?
No.
Any questions or identifications?
I'm sure of it now, Lieutenant.
All right, quiet down.
He was
You
one
cops
of
make
them.
me sick.
Believe me, I would never say it if I'm not sure.
I believe you, Miss Weiss.
You were cops ready to jump on it.
Something as serious as this, I would be sure before I said anything.
Surely. Sergeant Carger.
Yes, Lieutenant.
Number 4, hold for interrogation.
Oh, here's the package on Carl Lindell, Ben.
Just came in on the teletype.
Thanks. Been a busy boy, hasn't he?
They want him back there when we're through with him. Grand theft auto.
3 arrests. First in 1944.
The only thing he's been arrested for is theft.
Looks like he got in a little over his head this time. Yeah?
Asher's got Lindell out here, Ben.
Send him in.
Right.
Well, let's see what he has to say.
Over here.
Okay, what's the beef?
Don't you know?
Now I'm supposed to be a mind reader.
Okay, have it your way. We'll bring you up to date. Night before last, a liquor store at the corner of Beverly and 6th was held up. The owner, Mr. Weiss, was shot and killed in the struggle with the thieves.
So what?
Mrs. Weiss identified you in the line as one of the men.
So I tell you, don't know anything about it. No matter what time you're in, the cops don't change. Witnesses have been known to make mistakes.
This one's positive.
Okay, so she's positive. I'm positive I didn't have anything to do with it.
Where were you night before last?
I went to a show.
Anybody with you?
No, I went by myself.
Can you prove you were at the show?
No, I told you nobody was with me.
Well, what picture did you see?
I don't know the name of it. It was a musical.
What theater?
What difference does it make?
Your folks down in Dallas, Carl?
No, I don't know where they are. They wouldn't care anyhow.
You know you're wanted in Texas?
So what? Send me back.
Grand theft's better than a murder rap, Carl.
I didn't kill nobody.
Who did, your partner?
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Who is your partner?
I don't have any partner. I've only been in town for 10 days.
Made any friends while you've been in town?
No.
What do you do at night?
Stay in my room.
What have you been doing in the daytime?
Looking for a job.
Where?
Lots of places.
Name one.
The garage on 12th Street.
What did they say?
They didn't need anybody. I'd be working if they did.
Want a cigarette?
No.
You ever been around Beverly and 6th?
I don't know. I don't even know where it is.
How long you lived in the motel?
Ever since I got in town, 10 days. Where did your partner go? I don't know.
I thought you didn't have a partner.
I didn't.
What picture did you see 3 nights ago?
I told you I don't remember the name. It was a musical. Why don't you guys let up? I'm telling you the truth.
You said you saw the musical night before last.
I did.
You went to a show 2 nights in a row?
No, you guys got me talking to myself. Just because some half-blind old dame gets a liquor store stuck up, you guys try to make me the patsy.
How did you know she was half blind?
All right, I was in on it. But I didn't kill the old man. Earl did it.
Earl who?
Earl Bentley. Crazy jerk, he didn't have to either. The old man didn't even have a gun.
Whose car did you use?
I don't know who it belonged to. Earl stole it.
Where does Bentley live?
I don't know. Really, I don't know. I met him in a bar at 3rd and Washington. Hi-Ho. He's got a girlfriend who works there.
And what's her name?
Jean Hillard.
You seen Earl since the robbery?
No.
Okay, Asher, lock him up.
June 17th, 1952, the lineup on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Hey gang, just a note to let you know that we've notified all of our radio stations that our final episode of Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox will be broadcast on all of our radio stations on June 30th of 2023. It is not something of your radio station. It's not because you haven't been responsive. It's because my doctors have said I need to take time off, and I need to take a significant time off. I can no longer work 90 hours a week. It's just that simple. So to let you know, listen to the shows, enjoy the shows while you can. Go to our friend Ted at RadioMemories.com. He supplies a lot of shows. And go to our webpage at classicradio.stream and learn how you can build your own classic radio collection. But again, June 30th will end Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now more of the lineup, June 17th, 1952.
Only one bar girl in the whole place. Yeah. Jean Hilliard?
Yes, that's right.
Police officers, Miss Hilliard. I'm Lieutenant Guthrie. This is Sergeant Cargan.
Oh, you want to see the owner?
No, we'd like to talk to you.
Oh, what in the world for?
You know an Earl Bentley?
Sure, I know Earl.
When was the last time you saw him?
Well, it's been pretty nearly a week. He told me he was going out of town. What's the matter? Is Earl in trouble?
Did he say where he was going?
No, he just said he was going out of town. He never tells me much about what he does. Oh, excuse me.
Certainly. Good looking.
Vodka Collins and a bourbon and water. You never did answer me. Is Earl in trouble?
We'd just like to talk to him. Did he say when he was coming back?
No, he didn't. But he's never gone for more than a week at a time.
Does he go out of town often?
Oh, about once a month.
You know a Carl Lindell?
No. No, I don't think so.
He's 5'11", dark brown hair, brown eyes. They're from Texas.
Oh, yeah, I remember him now. He came in with Earl a couple of times last week. Excuse me.
Looks like we better go back and have another talk with Lindell. Nothing like setting up an alibi. I think Lindell leveled with us. Maybe so. Oh, Jane, does Earl own a car?
Yeah, a maroon Ford.
Sedan? Coupe?
Yeah, coupe.
You know what year it is?
It's a 1949, I think. It's pretty new.
And where does he work?
Well, I don't know for sure. For his father, I think. He must do all right, though. He always seems to have money.
What does his father do?
He has a restaurant. Earl mentioned it just the other day. Said he was sick and tired of working in a hash house and was going to get into something better.
You know where the restaurant is?
Over on Washington, the Coffee Cup, 900 block north.
I see. Well, thanks, Miss Hilliard.
What if Earl should come in?
Just don't mention our being here.
Oh, I won't if you don't want me to.
No, we don't want you to.
All right. But I still can't understand what you want with Earl.
okay, Ben?
Sure. What'll it be, gentlemen?
Coffee for me, please.
Same. All right.
Clean place, isn't it? Uh-huh. Not much business, though.
There you are. 2 coffees. Anything else?
Is that pie any good?
Yeah, better be. I make it myself.
Give me a piece of the berry.
Sure.
You run this place by yourself?
Practically. Wish I could get some good help. Even my own son thinks he's too good to work in a lunch counter. This ain't too much of a place, but it's been good to me. I'm going to retire one of these days, and I always figured that Earl, he's my son, I always figured that he could take over someday.
Well, maybe he'll change his mind.
Not Earl. You know, I started this place 14 years ago. Got a little home around the corner here on 9th Street, all paid for, and I got a little money in the bank. But that ain't good enough for Earl. He's going to make it fast, he says.
Where is he now?
Earl? I don't know. Never tells me where he's going.
You think he's home?
I doubt it. Why'd you ask that?
I just wondered.
You fellas friends of Earl?
Not exactly. But we would like to see him.
You fellas are policemen, aren't you? Earl's in some kind of trouble, ain't he?
That's right, Mr. Bentley.
Just a minute. Yeah?
Mrs. Bentley?
Yeah.
Police, Mrs. Bentley.
Oh, want to come in?
Thank you. Is Earl here?
Nope. He left about 2 hours ago.
Did he leave in his car?
Uh-huh.
You know when he'll be back?
Nope. Earl don't tell me nothing about what he does. He's in trouble, ain't he?
We'd like to talk to him.
I knew it. I knew it was bound to happen.
How's
A
that?
smart aleck punk. I told his father he was going to get in trouble.
Isn't he your boy, too?
Nope. He just married his old man last year.
How old is Earl?
24. He's old enough to know better.
You mind if we have a look around?
Nope. But he ain't here.
Pete.
Yeah, Ben.
Check the house.
All right.
Where's his room, Mrs. Bentley?
Right down the hall. What'd he do?
We think he shot a man.
He'd have the guts, all right. Smart aleck jerk. Here. Take a look.
Do you have any idea where he might be?
Nope. I told you he don't tell me nothing.
Nothing here, Ben.
Of course he ain't here. I'd have told you if he was.
May I use your phone, Mrs. Bentley?
Sure, help yourself. It's in the kitchen.
Of 415 at 67th and Julia. See the man. Keep the peace.
You think he'll come back home, Ben? Sure. Didn't take any clothes. Probably doesn't even know we got Lindell.
T43, 914. Code 5 at 631 Cedar. Pick up. Suspect Earl Bentley, age 24. Male, Caucasian. 5'9", 165 pounds. Brown hair. Probably driving 1949 maroon Ford coupe.
If he comes back, they'll get him.
You think he'll try anything else?
Maybe. If he's as cocky as Mrs. Bentley thinks he is, he won't quit now.
T23, a 390W at 5441 Garden Street. See the man.
I asked Asher how his kid was. Yeah, so did I. It sure burns quine up the way Dave was on about his kid. That's one good thing about being single. You never have any trouble like that. You want to go up, Madison? Okay. You ever been around Asher's kid? No.
Oh, fine.
You would go up, Madison. Looks like it just happened. Better stop. Is anyone hurt?
No, I don't think so. I'm not, anyway.
Are you the driver of that car?
Yeah, the other car came clean across the double line. Hooked me in the rear fender. Guy shot down, he turned me over.
Didn't he stop?
No, I saw him going around the corner, but by the time I got there, well, he was gone. I just now got back here to my car. He must have gone to call you guys.
Well, there hasn't been any call on this.
Gee, that's
All
right.
units.
I'd have called, but
All
Hold it.
units.
Huh?
Hold it.
Vicinity Cedar and Washington. 211 at 1506 Acacia.
hey.
A liquor store.
That's only a few blocks from here.
Suspect resembles Earl Bentley. Male, Caucasian, about 5'9".
Let's go, Pete.
165 pounds.
Take this street over, Pete. Cuts into Washington.
Right.
Not much chance of seeing him.
Yeah, there he goes, Pete. He couldn't make the light. He turned off. See if you can make it, Pete.
Gonna be close, Ben. You see us, Ben?
I don't think so. Yeah. Hey, he's not going to make it.
June 17th, 1952, the lineup on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Just going to take a minute here to tell you about the big savings going on now, the clearance sale at mypillow.com. And you know, I've talked about how in my office I have a pair of my slippers, and they're really comfortable, and they're on clearance right now. The mypillow.com slippers, $25 a pair, limit 10. And I would buy 3 or 4 more pairs. Unfortunately, they're out of my size. They also have sheets, pillowcases, clothing items, all on special right now. Go to mypillow.com, click on the clearance tab at the top of the page, use my promo code Wyatt, or call 1-800-928-4715. Limited sizes remaining in the MyPillow slippers, limited colors on other items. mypillow.com, clearance tab, promo code Wyatt, 1-800-928-4715. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, now the conclusion of the lineup and the liquor store robbery as it was broadcast June 17th, 1952.
He's making a run for it. Come on, Pete. In that garage. Cover the alley.
Right. Hey, mister, you a cop?
Yeah.
Some guy just came running in the garage. He's got a gun.
Yeah, I know. Anyone else in there?
No.
Well, keep under cover.
Don't worry, that guy's crazy.
Bentley? Bentley,
Yeah,
come on out with your hands up. You can't get away with this.
I can try. I'm dead no matter how you take me in.
You okay, Ben?
Yeah,
Now I got me 2 cops.
Where is he?
in the paint booth.
Yeah, come and get me.
Nervous, Bentley? You're gonna whip the whole police force?
I don't have to. There's only 2 of you.
There'll be more.
Okay, you win.
Throw your gun out. Okay. Come out with your hands over your head. Okay, that's close enough. Face the wall. Put your hands in back of you.
Sure.
Take it easy, Bentley. Okay, Pete, come on in.
Well, you do.
That didn't make much sense, Bentley. Get an ambulance, Pete.
The lineup, where before you passed the innocent, the vagrant, the thief, the murderer. Listen again next week when we again bring you the lineup.
May I have your attention, please? You people out there on the other side of the wire in the audience room, may I have your attention, please? Thank you. My name is Cogger, Sergeant Pete Cogger. I'll explain the lineup to you. Each of the suspects you will see will be numbered. I'll call off a number, their name, and charge. If you have any questions or identification...
The lineup, starring Bill Johnstone as Lieutenant Guthrie with Jack Moyles as Sergeant Pete Cogger, was written by David M. Light with music by Eddie Dunstetter. Featured in tonight's cast were Peter Leeds, Hy Averback, Virginia Gregg, Howard McNear, Herb Butterfield, Bob Bailey, Sam Edwards, and Jeanette Nolan. The lineup is produced and directed by Jaime Del Valle. Dan Coverly speaking. This is the CBS Radio Network.
June 17th, 1952, the lineup on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Let's head to the comic strips for something for the youngsters, an episode of Little Orphan Annie. This episode goes back to June 17th, 1936.
Who's that little chatterbox, the one with pretty auburn locks? Whom do you see? It's little Orphan Annie. She and Sandy make a pair, they never seem to have a care. Cute little she, this little Orphan Annie. Bright eyes, cheeks have rosy glow, there's a store of healthiness handy. Might size, always on the go. If you want to know, Princess Sandy always wears a sunny smile. Now wouldn't it be worth the while if you could be like little Orphan Annie?
Well, it's 5:45 now, and we're all set for another big adventure with Orphan Annie and Simmons Corners. But before we begin Annie's adventure tonight, I want to ask you a question. Are you always getting left out of games and sports because you're kind of small and not very strong for your age? Or do you always get tired out so quickly that you can't keep up with the others, and nobody ever wants to play with you? Well then, just remember that Ovaltine has helped thousands of boys and girls like you. So why not start right in drinking a big glassful of Ovaltine with all your meals every day? Now here's why that may help so much. You see, with every single glassful of Ovaltine you drink, you'll be getting lots of important minerals and vitamins and things to help build you up and make you stronger and huskier every day. And what's more, Ovaltine's so easy to digest that it helps build up extra pep and energy for you. You bet, the kind of pep that puts you right up on your toes, able to run faster and play harder so that everybody will want you in all their games, and nobody will say you're too small anymore. You just start in drinking good-tasting Ovaltine and stick to it. Yes, sir. Drink it regularly every day and just see what a big difference it may make. But now, everybody listen close. Tonight's Thursday night, and that means club night for all you boys and girls who joined Orphan Annie's Secret Society last winter. And right during tonight's adventure, we're going to broadcast an important secret message in Annie's 1936 Mystery Radio Code. So all you members, get your super decoder pin ready and have your pencil and paper handy to take the secret message down and figure it out. Because remember, it's going to come right during the adventure. And now, getting back to Annie. Yesterday, while Annie and Joe were over at the old Gregory barn, the watchdog was shot in the leg by some unknown man. Annie caught a glimpse of the man, and she thinks it was Nicholson, the spy. But here she is, sitting alone on the silo back porch after school now, peeling potatoes for supper. And listen, Sandy's talking to her.
Now, Sandy, leaping lizards, what's the idea of sitting there begging? You know you don't like raw potatoes. Well, all right then. Since you're so stubborn about it, here, try a piece. I told you so. You just spit it out. Now, what was the idea of begging so for something you didn't like? I guess you just thought there was no harm in asking. Anyhow, Sandy, I sure am glad you can sit up there and beg today. Think of your friend, poor Blood, shot through the leg and not able to sit up. I'm awful glad it wasn't you, Sandy, that got shot. Gee, I'd feel terrible if anything like that happened to you. Yes, I would. But you don't need to look so pleased about it. And sitting here talking to you isn't getting any potatoes peeled. Now, suppose you let me alone for a minute and... That's Joe's whistle. Now, suffering sunfish, where'd I put mine? Here it is, in the pocket of my dress.
Hello, Annie.
Howdy, Joe.
Boy, these old whistles sure do the trick, don't they? I guess there's nothing much better to signal with. I sure am glad Mo Brown gave them to us down on the Mississippi, because there's no mistaking things. You know my whistle, and I know yours.
Yeah. Sit down on the steps there, Joe. I'm peeling these potatoes to help Mrs. Silo get supper.
Spuds, eh? Boy, I just got through helping my mother, and I thought I'd come over here for a few minutes and show you what I got, Annie.
What is it?
Shucks, it's a book.
Oh, I can see it's a book. What kind of a book?
It's one I got at the library, Annie, and it's all about aviation. Shucks, I got so interested in what Mr. Bond's been telling us about flying in the Wright brothers that I just had to find more about it.
Good for you, Joe. What's in the book?
Oh, gosh, lots of things. There's even a paper written by the Wright brothers themselves. Yes, sir, by Mr. Wilbur and Orville Wright. And it tells all about the story of their invention of the airplane.
Jumping grasshoppers. Tell me about it, Joe.
You go on peeling those potatoes, Annie. I'll tell you some and read you some while you're doing it. Let's see now. Mr. Bond got as far as...
The first flight, Joe, that lasted 12 seconds.
Yeah, that was made by Orville Wright back in 1903. Well, it says here that on the same day, December 17th, they made 3 other flights. Wilbur and Orville taking turns doing it. And the last one was for 59 seconds and covered over 852 feet against a 20-mile-an-hour wind.
They must have been pretty happy when that happened.
I guess they were. It says here they packed up their machine and went back to Dayton, Ohio, determined to try more experiments in the spring.
And did they?
You bet they did. They kept making their machine better and better, until finally the United States government got interested and ordered a plane from the Wrights, capable of carrying 2 men and sufficient fuel supplies for a flight of 125 miles with a speed of 40 miles an hour.
Leaping lizards, that's progress all right.
I'll say it is, and they did it too.
Joe, I've been thinking a lot about this.
About what, Annie?
About aviation, about all Mr. Bonds told us about Professor Kenyon's new silent plane.
Shucks, who hasn't been thinking about it?
Well, I mean all this happening to us, Joe. Being in on the ground floor, sort of, a new invention. It looks to me, Joe, as if we ought to do more than we're doing about it.
What do you mean, Annie?
I mean this. Here's the professor out here in Simmons Corners, where he thought he could be alone, working on this plane of his. He's too busy to even think of anything else except his invention.
I'll say he is. His invention and his chewing gum.
And Mr. Bond's too busy helping him to give all the time he should to other things.
What other things, Annie?
Look, Joe, Professor Kenyon wants his plane, when it's finished, to go to the United States government, doesn't he?
Sure he does. He said so. And so is Mr. Bond.
Yeah, and it'd be mighty bad if it didn't go to the United States. Now, Mr. Bond says, though he admits he hasn't any proof, that this man Nicholson is a foreign spy.
And I'll just bet he is.
Well, we don't know, Joe, for sure.
Why, Annie, every time we've been over there splitting wood or dusting up, he's tried to find out about the Gregory barn. That's just about all he's talked about. And besides that, didn't we find there a pair of field glasses and a box of guns?
We did, Joe, but he explained all that. He said the field glasses were to study bird life.
And the guns were to shoot the birds. It just doesn't make sense, Annie.
But it still isn't proof.
Shucks, how about yesterday when he shot the watchdog Blood?
Oh, we don't know that he shot him, Joe.
Didn't you say you saw Nicholson disappearing into the woods right after the shots?
No, I didn't, Joe. I said I saw a man who looked like Nicholson. I couldn't swear that it was him.
Shucks, that's right, Annie.
Don't you see, Joe? What we want is proof positive.
I see it all right, but how are we going to get it?
Look, Joe, if Nicholson really is a foreign spy, he doesn't deserve much mercy. Even lizards, with all the wars and rumors of wars that are going on around the world now, nobody wants the United States to get tangled up in any of them. All we Americans want is peace.
You're right, Annie.
And Professor Kenyon wants to give his new silent plane to the United States. Not as a weapon of war, but as a weapon of peace. Because as Mr. Bond says, if the United States does get this plane, and the secret of it, our country can almost enforce peace. While if some foreign country gets it, it's apt to mean war.
What about it, Annie?
Just this, Joe. Now, we're just a couple of kids, I know. But we're in an important spot. And we may be able to do a lot for our country.
You can count me in on anything I can do for my country.
I know it, Joe. Look, if Nicholson is a spy and we can prove it, and keep the professor's plans secret for the United States, we'll have done a job, won't we?
You bet we will have.
Look, Joe, don't you remember once we were in a bad spot over in Cairo, Egypt?
Shucks, I'll say we do. That was when Dr. O'Gatos in the League of the Cat was after us.
Yeah. And what did we do to offset that League of the Cat of Dr. O'Gatos?
Shucks, we formed your secret society.
You bet we did. And that secret society is working to this day. Joe, if our suspicions are right, this Mr. Nicholson is even worse than Dr. O'Gatos was. Dr. O'Gatos was only working against Daddy Warbucks. Nicholson, if we're right, is working against our country.
Gosh, I see what you mean, Annie.
Not quite, you don't, Joe. Look, you and I alone can't keep our eye on this Nicholson all the time. Because we have work to do, helping around the farms and things. You're helping your mother, and I'm helping Mrs. Silo. But, Joe, there are other kids around here. When we're working, they could be keeping an eye on Nicholson.
Shucks, what do you mean, Annie?
Just this. When you have to be picking apples and I have to be doing dishes or something, Nicholson's unwatched, isn't he? Well, is there any reason why at that time Squinty or Potato Face or Helen Wilson or somebody else couldn't be keeping an eye on him?
Great fish hooks, Annie. I think you've hit it.
I think so, Joe. We'll call our secret society on the job again and get 'em all busy. We're all just kids, but leaping lizards, there's no reason why kids can't do just as good a job as grown-ups if they know what they're doing.
Boy, oh boy, let's get busy on it.
You bet, Joe. Well, there are my school books right there on the steps. And there's a lot of tablet paper in my geography. Get it out.
I got it, Annie.
Got a pencil?
Sure, I always carry a pencil in my hip pocket. Shucks, a feller never knows when he's gonna need a pencil.
Good. Now, let's see. We'll write the message first, and then we'll make a list of the kids in Simmons Corners who belong to our secret society, so we can send it to all of them.
All right. Got your decoder pin with you, Annie?
Of course. I always carry it pinned right here on my dress.
Good for you, Annie. Boy, I guess we'll show this spy, if he is a spy. We'll write these messages out now, and I'll deliver them to everybody first thing in the morning, before school.
All right, Joe. Which code key shall we use?
Let's see. How about using Y? Y19.
Okay, we'll make Y19 the code key for this message. Put it down. Now get ready to write down these secret numbers as I read them off the decoder pin.
I'm ready, Annie.
Here we go then with the most important secret message we've ever sent. Here's the first word. 7, 16, 16, 3. Now the second word is 3, 24, 7, 24, 23, 23, 24, 21.
Okay, next.
The third word is 20, 15. The fourth word, 9, 20, 14, 24. And now for the fifth and last word. 5, 1, 23, 15. And that's all.
Well, did you get that all down? That was an important secret message sent to all the members of Radio Orphan Annie's Secret Society by Annie herself. So all you members, get out your super decoder pins and figure it out right away. Just set your super decoder at Y19. Remember, that's the code key Annie and Joe decided on before Annie read the message. And then your super decoder pin will figure out that whole message for you automatically. And say, if you haven't joined Annie's Secret Society and missed out on that important message, you'd better get busy and join right away, because there are going to be lots more of these messages broadcast from time to time. And best of all, you can join Annie's Secret Society absolutely free if you're drinking your Ovaltine every day. Because here's all you do. Just print your name and address plainly on a piece of paper, and then send it in together with all of the thin, round aluminum seal from underneath the lid of a can of Ovaltine. Mail it to Little Orphan Annie, Chicago, Illinois. Or if you live in Canada, mail it to Ovaltine, Peterborough, Ontario. Now that's all you do. And then Annie sends you the beautiful big gold-colored super decoder pin and her 1936 official book of secrets right away. So get busy and send in this very night. And don't forget, be here right on time tomorrow at 5:45, because now that Annie's decided to set her secret society on the trail of Mr. Nicholson, we're going to see things popping faster than ever. Until tomorrow at 5:45 then, goodbye.
And while you were listening to Annie, I went and got myself a glass of milk and some Ovaltine myself. It's not the same stuff, but got some Ovaltine. June 17th, 1936, Little Orphan Annie, right here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Please thank this radio station. Support their advertisers. They have lots of choices to make, and we're glad they chose us just like you did. A card or a letter to them, or even an email, means an awful lot. Also, visit our webpage, classicradio.stream, classicradio.stream. Stream our shows. Learn about building a classic radio collection of your own. Also find our social media links. And you can also buy me a copy like Karen did. She buys so many copies for us. We appreciate her so much. But also, tell your friends. The greatest radio shows of all time are right here at this spot on the radio dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.